from Columbia Heights. This is Sounds Obtuse Podcast. I am Chris. With me always is my co-host,
Dylan Carter.
How's it going, man?
Man, it's going great. We've just had a fantastic little adventure here recently, haven't we?
Which one?
Man, all of them. I mean, just
Every single
tonight.
last
Just
one.
tonight was amazing, but it's been great. We're gonna get into it.
Yeah, we got a lot to get into.
I've been great.
You been good? Doing good?
So good. You
Feeling
already
good?
know. You already know. You've been there.
I do. Anything that I don't know that you're just like, man, I've been kind of doing this week, and it's been kind of chill. I've been really appreciating it.
No, man, it's all been stuff that you know about this week. I'm sorry.
Has.
It's just, we'll get into it. I don't want to get into it now. We'll get into it. But
All right.
how are you?
I'm pretty good, man. As you know, like as you just
As I
said,
know. Yeah, you're right.
I think we spent more days together than not this week.
I think so.
Doing different things here and there, things, very spontaneous things. They were very fun things. It's a great time hanging out with you. But I did do some other stuff aside from you this week. Actually, never mind. You were there. This is part of my notes last week that I forgot to. That I was like, I may as well talk about it because I think you guys should know if you're unfamiliar. We played One Night Vampire. Is that what it was called?
One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Okay.
Yeah, great game, though.
It's fun. It's like a role-playing type game where you just like draw cards and you play an app, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, so like you just like get different roles, and then everyone has to try to figure out like who the werewolf is. It's a social deception game.
Yeah, you basically lie to your friends and
Yeah, just trying to like if you're the werewolf,
teach them how good you can lie.
If you're the werewolf, you're trying to lie. If you're not the werewolf, you're trying to find out who the werewolf is, and it's just a fantastic game. It's just great.
Yeah, so check into that. We also played Chameleon.
Chameleon, that's another social deception game.
Yeah, another one of those.
It's kind of like Taboo, but with a social deception element.
Yeah, you kind of just like say some words and hope people don't know you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly. It's kind of like Bullshit meets Taboo.
Yeah, that was fun. Those two things were fantastic. I've also been playing some Super Mario 3D World this week.
Have you?
Fantastic game. Super fun. I picked it up, hadn't played it before. Played through like the whole first world in like maybe 20 minutes tops.
Ooh,
just having a blast.
Brag a little bit.
The controls were so fluid. My brother was here. He witnessed it. It's multiplayer. He wasn't about it, but he's got it. It's fun blast. If you like any Mario game, this is possibly the one to have.
Wow.
Yeah, Gerard the Completionist. I don't know if you're familiar with him. The YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah, his favorite game of all Mario is this one, and I think rightfully so. Because I only recently started playing it, but man, like he does everything, and even he was like, that's the one. So I trust his judgment there. Bit of downtrodden news this week. I did want to just get out the way. Professional wrestler Scott Hall, NWO.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, unfortunately passed away. Suffered 3 heart attacks.
Man.
Family took him off life support. The bad guy. Razor Ramon. True legend in the ring.
I remember this vaguely, but I mean, still, like WWE played a very brief yet important part in my life.
Yeah, if you were alive during that time, like you were swept up in it. There was no avoiding it.
In NWO, they were just the best bad boys. Plus
And
the whole New World Order thing. That's just what a early 2000s thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
And then when you're NWO, you're NWO for life. So he certainly was. But we do got some other news as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, a couple things happened this week pretty recently. Kind of want to get your take on, D.
Please.
We got to. This isn't a new thing, but Walgreens seems to be going a little more proactive in this area. You ever seen those doors that you get with like the drinks and whatnot? You could see through them and say, I don't want a Gatorade, do you want a Sprite, maybe you want a Monster, maybe you want some Java Starbucks, what have you. But now, they're screens. LCD TV type screens covering the doors. So you can't see through that's a Sprite or a Gatorade behind there. You have to time it. So between the ads, you get to see what should be back there. And of course, if it's not in stock that day, you think the employee's going to say, got to get rid of the Gatorade JPEG, make it blank.
What the fuck? Why? Why do we need to do that, though? It just seems like you're trying too hard to be futuristic, and it seems sad.
I feel like it's a bad place to start being futuristic.
It's like, Dad, you're old. Just be old. I don't know.
So this is from CNN, and they're saying that some shoppers hate it.
Did they interview everyone? Because I feel like everyone probably hates it.
Yeah, I'd like to meet the guy that
serves
agrees.
nothing. It serves, like, I don't understand the plus from a consumer side. So why would a consumer like it? I see some pluses on like a commercial side of it, like, oh, we could get to put ads and shit up.
That's the only plus.
But that's the only plus, and
it hurts everyone.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Not for consumer. It's not pro-consumer.
Nothing is in a capitalist society. It just all claims to be.
It's a sad state of affairs. Potentially speaking of sad state of affairs, are you familiar with Grimes, the musical artist?
I feel like I've heard of this.
She is Elon Musk's wife. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's She's
where
had
the
like
name
some
stood out.
songs for like games like Rocket League. She's done a few songs for things like that. You hear her name every once in a while. Apparently, she got a new album coming out.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard any of her stuff?
I have not. Have you?
Like I said, a few songs I've heard here and there. But her
Big
new
fan?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But she's kind of buzzworthy at times. Her new album is said to be some sort of combination, not necessarily those two specifically, but you hear tones of Smashing Pumpkins x Beyonce. So you've heard those two bands, surely.
For sure.
So imagine those two kind of making a track together.
Okay. I think some of our friends are actually going to go see Smashing Pumpkins here soon.
Do you feel like that'd be a good sound?
I don't know. So saying Smashing Pumpkins x Beyonce. Beyonce's got a great voice. Her music style is not something that I personally like playlist. Nothing against her. It's just not my thing. Smashing Pumpkins I actually dislike.
Not a fan?
I'm not a fan in the least. I think their lead singer sounds ridiculous.
Would you rather hear them or REM in concert?
REM. Every fucking day of the week, twice on Sunday.
So you can almost replace the artist?
Smashing
vocalists?
Pumpkins is just like, if Nirvana had a more annoying lead singer, you would have Smashing Pumpkins.
I want to say that's kind of fair.
I mean, really, it's just like, sing through your nose a little bit more, please.
Yeah, I do agree with that. About shitty Nirvana, essentially.
What else you got over there,
All
Christian?
right. So, Dylan, I know you're usually the first one to give us some sad news here in this news segment.
It really is. I'm sorry. That's my thing.
I think I'm gonna break that streak today.
I mean, you literally just told us about a wrestler dying, so
He did. Yeah, that.
you already broke it.
Yeah. Well,
So just
get sadder then.
rip off the Band-Aid even more. Let's go.
Due to inflation, there's going to be 5 fewer Doritos per bag.
Is that real?
Yep.
I mean, I already don't buy chips in bag. It was just like out of principle because I'm not paying for air. I'm sorry, that shit's free. I don't fucking need to buy.
Well, now you're
yours.
paying for more air.
I'll eat them at my friend's house, but I'm not buying them.
I guess that 5 isn't probably per bag because it's probably per
If I buy chips at all, I'm buying shit like Pringles.
hers.
No,
Really?
same thing.
Utz?
Or I like the veggie chips. What is it? Pringles, veggie chips.
Veggie straws.
Those are good. And then sourdough pretzels. Those are, ever buy air.
Do you like the
just
mustard
get-
pretzels?
I have not had those. We gotta get after them.
You might even like the buffalo pretzels. No cap.
5 less Doritos. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't really care.
It's pretty sad though.
I'm not a big Dorito fan. Anyway.
But imagine any chip.
The Cool Ranch is pretty good.
5
less
less
Cool Ranch. Breaking my heart. I think I'll live though.
All right.
I could probably go for 5 less of them. I mean, look at me. I'm like a buffalo.
Inflation, man. They're definitely inflating those bags, all right, with air.
I hear it's a mother.
All right, next story up. So this one said, it said Android users don't forget this before Tuesday, and then it also said most Android users don't know this security tip, and had parentheses, do this now.
Oh God, what do I need to do? Tell me.
So I tried to get to the bottom of it. Unfortunately, there's like so many pages, and I never actually found out what it was because I got distracted by this other news story that's way more newsworthy. It says Tiger Woods' ex-wife turning 40, and then it said, "quote Hold your heart before you see her now."
How did that make you feel?
Well, I couldn't find that one either. So it was just a bunch of endless links, unfortunately. But make sure you update your Android phone or whatever before Tuesday.
Apparently, you gotta do it before Tuesday.
Hopefully-
Everything's gonna break on Tuesday.
Hopefully this gets out
and-
before then.
And if you happen to see an image of Tiger Woods' ex,
Yeah, send it this way.
hang on to your heart.
Email it to soundsobtuspodcast@gmail.com.
Do you think what's your hot take? What do you think hang on to your heart means? Hang on to your heart like she's a fox now? Or hang on to your heart like, boy, she has taken a
I
turn
think
for the worse.
it means rip out your heart, Mortal Kombat fatality style, and then after you see this, you're going to want to kill yourself.
Okay.
Because she's 40 now.
Wow, she's 40? What?
So hold your
In my mind, pretty women can't be 40 or something. You know, like whatever the fuck they're thinking.
Maybe you kill yourself out of guilt because you had those assumptions. I don't know.
Maybe they all should.
Hold your heart. What do you think?
I feel like it's saying that she's a total babe now, but I also feel like that's implying that you're saying that she wasn't before, and I feel like that's a problem.
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, she probably was a babe before she was 40. If she's a babe now,
I never really saw her. I saw her on a South Park episode. That was it.
I didn't. Well, I couldn't get to the bottom of the image. Again, just a bunch of links that.
That's the internet now.
Yeah, unfortunately. I do got one more news story. Daylight savings. How do you feel about that?
I really wish it would end.
You might be in luck.
What?
You might be in luck.
What?
Because the Senate has approved the daylight savings is like permanently stopped.
Really? The Senate?
Yeah, the Senate Our Senate, the United States Senate. We have to wait for the House and, of course, our president to further approve such a thing. And it wouldn't take
They got enough people to agree on something?
So far.
Joe Manchin didn't fuck it up yet?
So far. I mean,
Just wait.
Who wants less sleep? Come on.
Probably Joe Manchin for some random
more sun. Reason. If this thing goes through, it wouldn't take effect until 2023. But I mean, it's looking pretty damn likely at this point.
Pretty likely by 2023 we could say goodbye to daylight savings time.
That's the theory.
So it's sort of a double-edged sword, though. As much as I don't like it, when I say I don't like it, what I'm saying is I don't like springing forward. Boy, do I love falling back. I love falling back.
Well, I think that's the beauty of it. I think we'd have one more fall back, and then we'd go, right?
I think it's fall back, spring forward, and then you're done.
I like that. That makes more sense too.
I think that's the way you do. But
one more spring forward though. All right, if that's what it takes, we gotta get those hours in, more daytime. I'm down with it.
I don't want to do it.
I'm definitely down with that. Any news stories on your side?
I'll just say it doesn't really fit in anywhere else in the pod, but I think we had a pretty good time last night hanging out with some friends.
Oh yeah, it was a fun little stroll through some parts of historical Yorktown.
Yeah, we went through historical Yorktown, middle of the night, probably some places we shouldn't have totally been. Had a really good time.
May or may not have pissed off of a bridge.
Some pretty good.
Allegedly,
probably pissed off a bridge.
And by that I mean made it angry. Come on, I'm not going to urinate off a bridge. That's ridiculous. Allegedly.
Dodging cops and stuff. It was really fun. I felt like sort of like a hoodlum.
Yeah, we couldn't look more ragtag.
Yeah,
we probably could have actually.
Got like walking sticks and stuff. We would have just pretended to be Canadian.
Yeah, I found a sick walking stick made out of bamboo. Pretty damn tight.
So so that was a highlight for me. It was just walking around one of my favorite places, historical Yorktown, with some really good friends. Late at night, loved it.
That was definitely a fun time. We went on plenty more adventures this week though, and we're gonna get into that in just a moment. Anything else you want to
add? No, I'm just excited to get into it. But I think we gotta take an ad read.
Be right back with a word from our sponsors.
Funding for this episode of Sounds Obtuse Podcast is provided by the following.
Shelly's Shoe Sale Emporium. Here at Shelly's Shoe Sale Emporium, we have all your shoe care needs and wants covered. We have it all. Big shoes, small shoes, old shoes, new shoes, flats, canvas shoes, clown shoes, big clown shoes, roller skates, and coming soon, Yeezys. If it's protective covering the feet you need, then come on down to Shelly's Shoe Sale Emporium to get the best deal on kicks indeed. Basketball shoes, ice hockey and football sneakers, tennis shoes, and rally car pedal pushers. No one stomps Shelly's prices. And come on by Tuesday after 2 p.m. and receive a free bottle of jasmine rice with each order. That's dinner and a new way to get around, all for one great low price. Also, enjoy this special limited time offer when you use code PUMPS at checkout to save 5% and help support this podcast. Thank you, Sally's Shoe Sale Emporium, for supporting the pod.
I gotta say, I got myself a pair of those ice hockey sneakers. Love them.
I do too.
Love them.
Those are
comfiest shoes I've ever owned. Man.
The last time I won, I got a pair of those flats.
Oh yeah, you wearing the flats?
I've been rocking the flats for a while, but nice. I'm due for a new pair, and I'm definitely gonna go to Sally's because it's the Shoe Sale Emporium. The prices can't be stomped. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna get some of these Yeezys.
Get those Yeezys. I mean, you're a big fan.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Thank you, Shelly's Shoe Sale Emporium, for supporting the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Sal Shell. We appreciate you. So, Christian, we just took a little obtuse adventure.
We certainly did.
Another one, actually. We've been getting after it, and we did some different things up in one of our new favorite places, DC. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Some of our experience, the way we got there, the way we got around while there.
So let's start with the first thing we did. So aside from like booking the details and all that sort of stuff, we said, all right, well, how are we going to get there? Because last time we drove, we scooted around afterwards, and this time you drove a little bit less.
I did. I got to drive less, and it was amazing.
We drove to Richmond, and we got on at the Amtrak station. That is a train, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else listening. Germs, whatever.
Otherwise.
From there, we went to DC, and how long did that take us? About 2 hours?
It was
like that?
So it was scheduled to be a 2.5 hour trip, and it ended up being about 2:40.
Which ain't bad.
I mean, it's really not, man. 2 hours, like 10 minutes behind schedule. Come on, that's fine.
That's how late were you for work today? You know,
and it was $22. So $22 one way, $44 round trip. You can't beat that. It allowed us to. We caught the train at like 6. We got up there around like 8:39, and then we were exploring DC, and we got to explore DC until around 7ish, and we got to catch the train back home. It was amazing.
Yeah, sun up, sundown, essentially.
Yeah, and you don't got to mess around with that parking inside the city.
Nope.
You literally just get to drive. You pay like a small parking fee at the Amtrak station. It was so convenient, too. I thought it was going to be like some sort of TSA thing happening.
There was little to none.
It was so minimal. I mean, I guess we can say this. Like, I mean, we had some flour with us. Had some herbs. You know?
We were planning on making some cakes.
Herbs and spices and whatnot. So we had some of that going up to DC with us, and so we had done like a bunch of like Reddit research and stuff about if that's
couple googs.
Is it hard to get flour through Amtrak?
Am I gonna have to shove anything up anywhere?
Right, is the main question. Resoundingly on like Reddit and stuff, people were like, "Don't do it, man! It's a federal institution, man! It's not worth it, dude!" Like. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like people just around DC carry that stuff all the time.
Like if you trained a dog to sniff out marijuana at Union Station, your dog would never be doing anything else.
Yeah, it would just be like everywhere.
So like the convenience of literally just like I feel like you could show up about 20 minutes beforehand and easily get through. I mean, if you already got your ticket, you could literally get there the moment your train arrives.
Yeah.
And just you walk through one set of doors and then onto another, and then you get on the train and you're departed before they even scan your ticket, which is insane. It is. Yeah, it's just
so potentially you can get a free Amtrak ride.
It was the most convenient thing I think I've ever had. I love going to DC. I've been doing it for years, but to not have to drive at all, it basically turned my 6-hour round trip drive into a 2-hour round trip drive. So 4 of those hours I got to sleep on the train.
Now I've been
nice.
On Amtrak past DC. There is like a changeover. They have to shift over from like coal to electric. So there is a bit of a layover that can take time depending on, how smoothly things go. So there is that. But the drive from like lower Virginia, I guess mid Virginia to DC, wonderful. So pretty smooth, very short. One little nap and you're there before you know it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's honestly surprising how easy it is to fall asleep on a train.
Yeah, really comfortable.
Yeah,
the seats weren't.
You just kind of like sink into it. You got plenty of space. I have heard horror stories about Amtrak.
Yeah,
and I gotta say,
I've been on them.
Our experience up and back, convenience wise, price wise, and just comfort wise, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I have been looking at just anywhere I could go via Amtrak now.
Like I've been on buses. They suck. Prior Amtrak visits have sucked. But this one, it was pretty decent.
Amtrak has made a big push. They have a new CEO who said that they want to make Amtrak profitable. I believe Amtrak turned a profit for the first time like 2 years ago.
I can see it. They're doing good things.
I mean, they are doing good things. I mean, the trains run on time. I mean, come on. It's a train. If it's 10 to 20 minutes late, that's acceptable. That's understood. There's some of those little minute things. If it's like right on time, that's cool. But you have a little bit of leeway. We got to Union Station. What did you think about the station?
I was going to say it was gorgeous.
It was
beautiful, stunning.
It honestly, it sort of sent me off into the DC trip from a different frame of mind.
Yeah, it's like it's like, what is this doing here?
You're like first off, you get off the train and you're in like the area where there's like food courts and like shopping. It looks like
You can buy clothes if you need to.
It looks just like an airport terminal.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then as you're walking through past all of that, you get to like ticketing and stuff, and it starts opening up. It's like these massive vaulted ceilings with reliefs
every
carved
inch is just
into
covered.
them.
Like there's
and
no wasted
statues.
space.
Oh, it was beautiful. It really like you feel like you're walking into like one of those timeless like railroad stations that just stood out, and it was an experience just walking through them, and it felt just like that. I loved it. Kicking off the trip that way was just amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, you finally get outside, and the sun's actually risen. And like still a bit of a brisk air, and then you're looking for that first bite to eat. But we'll probably get into that a little bit later.
We will, a little bit later.
Any other words about the actual train itself?
If you've never considered Amtrak, I've been looking everywhere to see where I can and cannot Amtrak from. I did not know Amtrak went as far and wide as they did, and the convenience level is just great, especially if you're going to like a big city and you don't want to take your car. Think about taking the Amtrak. It's just a great way to travel.
So a couple other things about Amtrak that I think are worth mentioning. The fucking dystopian messaging system.
Oh,
the blaring speakers.
Okay, you're right.
Like,
yeah, as you're standing like outside and in the station and stuff, you know, you're puffing your vape or whatever. And then the speaker comes on, and it just sounds like any dystopian movie that you've ever seen.
It's definitely robotic text-to-speech.
Like straight out of Blade Runner. I don't know. The voice is just horrifying.
Like, check your bags, but it's just like blaring. It's very tinty and just
it's
like,
hard to
harsh.
describe, but you'll see it if you're ever at the Amtrak, because I also heard it at the other one.
It cuts the air, kills the vibe.
It was crazy. I did want to stress the convenience though. Like if you book a ticket from Union Station, but you end up wanting to catch the Arlington train,
you can do that.
You can do that without even changing a ticket. They'll just let you use the same place. That was
Amtrak
awesome.
shit like that. I appreciate that.
That was great. I appreciate.
I'm sure there's
that
exceptions to that, but like it's so close.
I
know?
appreciated that.
Especially as a tourist, that means a lot.
Yeah,
that really does. Last thing I want to mention, specifically that took place at the train station, but potential scammers outside the train stations.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta watch out anywhere like any transit area. Or like in DC, we saw a couple others.
We did. We possibly got scammed by some cops selling some hats last time.
Yeah, we might have got scammed by cops last time. That guy, wait, hang on. Did that guy say he was a cop last time?
He was in a cop's uniform.
Was he really?
Yeah, dog. This shit had police on it.
Oh, he was not a cop. That dude was not a cop at all.
Well,
no
I'm
way.
thinking
I didn't even notice that. I was oblivious.
Dude.
I thought he was just trying to hawk a hat.
Nah, I mean, he said it was like they're taking donations for the homeless. I'm like, hell yeah, you guys got to do something about this shit. Like,
so I gave him
I get a hat out of it. Cool.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I got a $5 in my wallet. I gave him a $5. He goes, whoa, man, it's gonna be more than that. Like you said, donation.
Like, what you got though?
What you got though?
So yeah, that was.
So yeah, you got to watch out for the scammers.
Yeah, that kind of hard does a little bit.
People being like, hey, I can't figure out the ticketing system. Can
I
buy my
use
ticket
your
and I'll
whatever?
just Cash App you or whatever? Yeah, that's not
fast
the way.
change artists out there. Whatever the case may be,
It's sad that you can't trust anybody.
It is,
but still, it's not worth the risk. You don't know anybody.
You don't, and a lot of the times there's just because they're it's easy to spot a tourist. You know what I mean? Like out of town or just someone, a common day sucker, if you will, can just make a quick buck off, rip them off. Unfortunately, so just watch out for those. Anything else about the train?
I think that basically covers the bases. I very much enjoyed it though, and I would recommend it to anybody looking to travel. I would say look into Amtrak because it's probably cheaper than you think it is. It's probably way more convenient than you think.
And they got a lot of options, which hopefully we'll get to explore later in the future.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to get one of those bedrooms that they have.
Oh man, that's where it gets hella expensive.
Potentially go cross country at some point.
Potentially, maybe an obtuse cross country road trip.
Yeah, that's one area I would definitely not want to just sit in those chairs for days. Like rough. 3 hours max. It's like a movie theater. You know what I mean?
I think LA was like 76 hours.
Yeah, like more than 3 hours. You're like, I need to fucking stand up and I can't do this anymore.
Trying to stand and pee in a train is difficult.
It's tricky.
Run
DMC, baby. It's
you really
tricky.
just end up painting the whole bathroom if you're not careful.
All right, so we got trains. The next one, which you want to talk about? You want to talk about?
We're talking about that water taxi.
Okay, I was gonna say land or sea, but it sounds like you're making a choice with the water
I'm
taxi,
saying it. Let's do water
the
taxi.
wharf, the ferry.
I tell you, this was one of the most fun ways I could have imagined getting around DC. So we wanted to cap off our trip in Old Town Alexandria. We could have taken metro, that's possible. It just would have been underground tube the whole way, and you don't get to ever really see anything.
Yeah, who hasn't seen an underground tube?
So the exact opposite of that was actually to take water taxi. You have the brand new development, the Wharf, which is beautiful, by the way. I mean, just a great area, lots of really nice restaurants, a couple of smaller dining options, but for the most part, it's gonna be like you're more like
You can get a drink and a
higher
bite
end.
for sure.
Yeah. But then they had like a 2-lane bike lane that goes up and down the entire thing. Amazing. So you get down there. It's just south of Washington Monument kind of area.
Yeah, it's not too far from like all the main stuff.
Ticketing's actually quite easy. You can catch water taxi from the Wharf to Georgetown, MGM National Harbor, and Old Town Alexandria. And then you can obviously catch the return trip back. And that was great.
And this thing's fast too.
Yes.
This thing it books it, man. Don't think this is just some little
It's
nice
not
little
like
stroll
your
on the
Staten
ocean.
Island ferry, man.
Nah,
It
your
goes
hat's gonna come off if you don't
so
secure that
fast. And honestly, I think I have 2 complaints about the water taxi. Nothing major because I still had a much
thing. Constructive criticism.
Yeah, overall great experience. Would
Yeah,
100% do
agreed.
it again. 100%.
but it could be better. It could always be better.
But what I did notice was it was a hot day in DC. We are both like sunburnt.
Yeah.
And
that's
they
tans.
did not tell you upon entering the vessel or anything, yo, you're going to want a jacket because it's going to be cold as shit because we are going to be cooking down the Potomac.
And even
River.
on like a hot summer day, like the wind and just the
were
speed that you're going.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you're not ready to suddenly, like if you've got like a book or something sitting down and you're not ready to suddenly go
that
that
shit's
speed,
gone.
they could go for like, letting people know, hey, we're about to be entering a higher speed. Make sure you secure your belongings. Make sure you got a jacket or something. You're going to want it. Something along those lines. I get it. That's sort of like nitpicky, but it is something that they could do to improve the experience because we had no idea.
On a cold day, you're not going to want to be up top.
No, and if it's raining, it's be
Forget about it.
miserable. You gotta
Forget about
you
it.
gotta be first in line so you can get one of those downstairs areas.
They also had like those little pads you could just sit
those
on.
little lounge chairs.
Dog,
Bruh, we walked past them because I thought that they were
I
gonna be
thought
like
it was
handicap.
random platforms.
I thought they were gonna be like handicap. Like a handicap person can sit there. That's what I
All
thought it
right.
was.
Well, we know what the fuck to do next
Now
time.
we know next time you're gonna chill out on one of those little pads.
Yeah,
So yeah, we got dropped off right at Alexandria,
that was wonderful.
right off King Street. Just a fantastic way to end the trip. And then instead of being in an underground tube, you got a lovely
Great sights.
You got a lovely view of the Washington skyline the entire way there,
Mm-hmm.
the Potomac River. I think they're even trying to make an extension. They're going to run shuttle service to Mount Vernon, so you can take a day trip to Mount Vernon, see George Washington's house, technically his brother's house, but
That'd be nice. More boats in the Potomac, right?
I mean, I love it. Look for the yellow taxi. The only other thing I wanted to recommend that they could change is make it easier to find. They have a couple of signs with arrows that are in places nowhere near where it is.
It's so confusing,
it's
man.
just-
And
it's
they're not
just-
the only ones doing this, but
No,
like,
but it's just like they have like arrows pointing out into the Potomac River and nothing else, and it's like I don't know where you're trying to tell me to go.
yeah, I need arrows and potentially even words.
Words would be nice, but yeah, I mean, other than that, the wharf, the whole area, super nice, and then the water taxi was just
Pretty
great.
chill.
Full disclosure, it's $17 one way. If you're a family, like a bigger family, it's going to be a very expensive trip.
Yeah.
But if you're, a couple of friends trying to
By
just
yourself,
pop
even.
over, it was definitely worth it.
I think I mentioned like cheaper than an Uber
Yeah.
potentially.
Oh yeah,
Definitely a taxi.
$17 worth the experience.
Like, if you're going from Alexandria to DC, like what's the other option?
Transportation plus river cruise, amazing.
That was definitely a nice
I loved
little
it.
bit
Loved the
there.
water taxi. Was there anything else you had on the water taxi?
Kind of like we mentioned, like it could be cold, maybe a little too windy, in the wrong atmosphere. Could potentially be too hot in the summer.
Yeah, you just
Potentially
kind of
crowded.
you got to kind of like imagine what you're getting on. It's got a big open top, effectively, just like bleacher seats, basically.
Pretty much.
It's not luxurious. No one's claiming that it is, but it's convenient.
It is very convenient.
So you got a big open top. You got some better seating downstairs, sort of inside kind of thing.
But
Not-
more standing area than
a
sitting
lot,
downstairs.
Yeah, a lot more standing area downstairs. So you just kind of got to know, like, if it's like the nicest day in the world, definitely take that water taxi if you're able to. If it's rainy, you're gonna want to maybe second think it. If it's super
And
windy.
I wouldn't count out that like certain drivers drive a certain way. You know what I mean? Maybe they're trying to catch up on time to make things a little more for a delay earlier in the day.
Well, they also do advertise that all of their trips are like 30 minutes or less. So I think that they're fast for that because while they're river cruise, they're also transportation.
Yeah.
So you have people who I'm sure commute from like Alexandria to DC.
Do you know how long a trip from Alexandria to DC like via car would be? Offhand?
I don't offhand.
More than half an hour.
I mean, you're gonna have to go over a bridge. You're gonna be in traffic.
Yeah,
it's gonna
traffic
be
and bridge.
I don't think over an hour. I think probably about 45 minutes or so though.
Longer
Easy.
than
Easy, definitely. Probably. No way quicker than water taxi. No way.
No way.
You're gonna
Well,
stop
sells
every
it.
100 feet. So I think but $30 a day. You got to kind of like weigh that. But if you're living in Alexandria, you can probably afford a $30 commute a day.
Maybe get on a scooter there, get to the wharf.
I mean, there you go.
Unfortunately, it won't be a spin. There wasn't too many spins in Alexandria.
There wasn't.
But you can get on a scooter, get on the wharf, come back.
But if you can't find a proper scooter, what you can do,
What's that?
you could try Capital Bike Share.
We did ride a Capital Bike Share.
We did Capital Bike Share. We got the day pass, the $8 day pass.
You ride like 45 minutes, and then it's like super discounted.
So
per
I
minute
actually
after.
thought upon ordering it, the day pass, I thought you just get 45 minutes. No, you get 45 minutes until you have to dock it.
Mm-hmm.
You could literally just pull up to a dock it, pull it back out, ride for another 45 minutes. I
Okay.
did not realize that.
Oh, but if you go after 45 minutes in
So,
one run,
yeah,
then you start
one
getting
run.
charged.
Just so people aren't hanging on to them all day,
Mm-hmm.
they're using them as point to point. And that's sort of the major point I want to make for CBS is that it is absolutely fantastic. Like a scooter is great if you're trying to get on a scooter, ride
zip
around,
on by.
chill. It's pretty good for point to point if you're off the mall.
Yeah.
Scooters can be great for point
That's
to point.
very key point.
But if you are on the mall and you want to go point to point, by far, I think the superior way to get point to point is CBS.
Yeah.
Because you can look at the app, see where you can dock it. You see, okay, cool, I've got a bike share right here in front of me. I'm going to grab one of these bikes, and I can look at the app, and I can see that there's a place to park it right where I'm headed. I'll park it right there. I can see there's an open dock, which is my one major
Ironically,
downside.
I know.
Ironically, the one
Yes.
downside, as I'm saying that's a good thing about CBS, it was the only panicky part of our trip.
So we had to return our bikes, and that's 2 bikes, by the way. But all the return centers only had room for 1 slot. So imagine.
The one we got to right by Amtrak had none.
Yeah.
And that was terrifying.
So we're literally in a town you don't know,
Right.
looking for a spot that you hope has to have 2 parking places for your bikes.
Right. So we, like I said, we took the water taxi over to Old Town, did some stuff there, and then when it was time to go, as I mentioned earlier, we decided and found out that we could just catch the same train, but instead of having to go back over Union Station,
We could just stay in
we
Arlington.
could just stay in Alexandria and catch it right there. We just got to go right up King Street. It said it was like a 10, 15-minute bike ride. Let's grab that CBS. Part of me knew I was supposed to look and make sure, but I just didn't. I just assumed.
We got so used to the scooters.
And because the entire day we had no problem plugging them in anywhere. So we get to like outside Amtrak, like we can see the Amtrak station. We got about 30 minutes, I think, until our
but
train.
the panic sets in.
The panic sets in when you get to the dock and there's no open docks. And you're like, oh no, what do we do? So we
Is
just,
one of us gonna have to walk like 2 miles potentially?
right. So we just had to kind of figure it out. We just rode around until we luckily found one that had literally just 2.
Yeah, and I literally had to go down to the very last spot, and I was hoping that wasn't the end of it.
Right.
And luckily, we
The
lucked
very
out.
last one, man.
But on that same note, instead of using the Capital Bike Share, we possibly could have used the
Alexandria free King Street
King
trolley.
Street, yeah,
King Street trolley. So trolley goes all the way. I'm assuming it goes straight from Amtrak to
Well,
Old
it
Town.
kept up with us as we went down, so
Yeah,
I think
all
it's
the
a
way
fair
there.
state.
Yeah, you even did say like we could just take that trolley, but I don't know how many stops it has to make, and I knew we would get there faster on bike.
We definitely
share.
did.
Well, yeah.
But by the time we went on several detours looking around,
It
it
would've
just
been easier.
kept meeting us.
We didn't know, but so Capital Bike Share, 100%, you got to put a little bit of logistical effort into it to making sure there's
reserve those spots.
The one thing I was sad we didn't get to do with Capital Bike Share is they have e-bikes. But we could,
every time.
we could
every
only
single
ever
time.
find one. Every single Capital Bike Share place we went to had one e-bike, not two. And I think the part of it is the e-bikes are allowed to be put anywhere. You can just leave those like a scooter anywhere. And I bet they do that to make open spaces for regular bikes, because that's probably a more common way of getting around. But yeah, it would have been nice to be able to actually try the e-bikes. Something to do next time, though.
Yeah, I mean, we rolled up, and like as soon as the first things we see is literally two spins just right next to each other.
As soon as we got out of
they may as well have had fucking two spotlights just
they were
like
both,
thrown on them.
Both full battery, just right outside Union Station waiting for us.
Could have been better.
That was fantastic. I loved it.
And then we got the bikes afterwards. We rode down Capitol Hill because fuck that shit.
Yeah, so we learned our lesson. If you listen to the scooter episode, Scooter Palooza, we talked about how we got stuck going up Capitol Hill on a spin. Spin is restricted outside Capitol Hill. It's not exactly intuitive to know where you can and can't go.
It's just like a long strip that your shit will just shut down, and it'll beep every 30 seconds.
It's one of the downsides of it, but
Capital Bike Share though. You can ride right on through.
You can ride right on through, especially if you're on the upside, like by Union Station. You can take Capitol Hill down and get onto the mall.
Possibly
and then
faster than the wire taxi was going.
Yeah.
Because we were booking it, man. My hat.
I was almost a little bit scared, but we were on the road too, which is great because I do feel a lot more safe and secure. Maybe it's just a familiarity thing. Maybe it's that I'm sitting down.
The bikes are comfortable as well.
Yeah, the bikes are very
Nice ride.
nice. Like one size fits all, basically. But I mean, you just adjust that seat, you're on your way.
We didn't try the limes, but they both have like things you can buckle your bag or what have you to in the front.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally felt that I usually ride in my backpack anyway, and by putting it in the front with the somewhat unfamiliarity of the proportions of the bike, it kind of threw off my steering a bit.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm not trying to mess around with that.
I mean, they're not like sport bikes, but they're still nice. They're nice enough that like
they're definitely cruisers.
Again, you can get point to point, and I think that's what Capital Bike Share is really for, is going point to point.
Yeah, gears are okay. Could have been better, but
yeah, it only goes up to third gear, but still, I mean, you can
it was fine.
You can get up hills, you can get down hills, you can go wherever you need to go.
Yeah,
you can go see stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to see, like with the spins. We couldn't go see the Supreme Court building, which is what we were trying to do when we were.
So they have their pros and cons.
Yeah, you really have to just have a grasp of the different modes you can get around, so that when you need to go from place to place, you can just know where you're going.
You can just
and
switch off.
And what you can do, what the best mode of transportation is. That's important.
Would you say this? If you can't scoot there, get a bike.
I don't necessarily want to make it that easy. I would say
thus far, we haven't rode the bus yet.
Yeah, and that was part of the thing was that we had gone up there with the intention. We actually put money on our Metro card so we could use Metro
we
Bus.
had so much planned.
So we could do Metro
but things
Bus
happened.
and Metro itself. But we never used it. And that's because even like longer journeys that we thought we were going to be taking, we could take a like 40-minute metro ride or just stick on this e-scooter we already paid $20 for all day and just get there in like 10 minutes.
Yes.
It's honestly,
works best.
I think you have to really have distance to want to take metro. Like I understand you're downtown, you want to go to the zoo. Especially
if it's like you gotta get a suit on. We saw a guy wearing a suit and scooting.
Yeah.
So it's not unheard of. But if you're doing that like in the rain, I'd take a bus.
Yeah, take a bus. That's when you would do.
I think weather permitting is a lot of. Unfortunately, we had some great days there.
We have.
So I like that. Anything else you want to say about the Capital Bike Share?
No, I think I basically said everything I wanted for them. They need more e-bikes, but I definitely
need more open spaces.
But I just love the bike infrastructure in DC, and I felt a lot more comfortable riding on the street, even when you got to get off the bike infrastructure and actually into the street itself. So last time we had an episode about going to DC, we talked shit about cops who gave us some bad advice. Probably
There's good ones out there.
Probably not maliciously. Gave us some pretty shitty advice. This time, we saw two cops. It was getting really busy on the sidewalk trying to ride Capital Bike Share. Mm-hmm. So I saw a cop who looked nice, and I'm like, I'm going to do this shit again. Capitol Hill cops and me apparently never get along, but I'm going to try this shit again.
Worth a shot.
So I talked to him. I was like, I just had some basic questions about like how to get around bike lanes, because I don't totally know how to ride in the street safely on a bike or on a scooter. Just some questions like that. Very knowledgeable guy. Actually gave me the confidence to get in the street. And I was like, now I'm ready.
And you could tell,
do
like
this.
and it's funny because like
he
I
was
said,
also on a bike. He
Yeah.
was a bike cop, so I was like, I know this guy.
and he kind of almost had like the I couldn't tell you everything there is about the exact rules, but I'm gonna give you everything you should know.
Right.
And it's funny that when you asked the question, we literally had to wait for like a parade of like 8th graders to just pass through us, and we're just like looking apart, like trying to get this last question answered. But he was very knowledgeable. We took his word for it. Rode around the city. It's fun
In the
fun,
street?
fun time.
The best
Yeah,
thing,
if
because
you're gonna do it, just go on the street.
The car, a bicycle on the street with a decent rider will almost always be going faster than the average car in like downtown DC, because there's a stop sign or a stop light every 100 feet. So cars are always stopping. They're never getting up to speed. Their maximum speed they can go is 25. They're never even getting up to 25. You can cruise so quickly in between cars and stuff if you just know
And
what
not
you're
just
doing.
that, even on a bike, the timing of the green lights is about the speed that you'd be going on a bike, and it
Yep.
just perfectly lines up to where you're never stopping.
Going down King Street on that bike, man,
was great.
as irritating as it was once we had to park, that aside, just like getting there, oh, that was easy.
You're just riding in
That
traffic.
was so
With it.
easy. Yeah, you just act like a car who gets treated like a pedestrian. It's the best of both worlds. It's
Yeah,
so
and
great.
if you're like, oh fuck this shit, I'm going around everybody and getting on the sidewalk.
But taking the train in and then using a mix of Capital Bike Share, scooters, and I think we're going to try to do this definitely next time that we go, metro, bus, try some of that. I think you learn all those and you integrate them in.
Oh yeah,
It's
You
so
just
easy
adapt and
to
overcome.
get yeah, like and like I mean, once you learn the metro lines, once you learn the bus routes, you can just very quickly and easily know where you got to go and get there. I think
I
that's
said, especially on a bad weather day, you're gonna want that bus.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't imagine what we were doing out there on like a slightly rainy, cold day. I'd be miserable.
So transportation aside, Chris, I think we covered our bases on what we kind of learned
Yeah, I think
transportation
so.
wise. So what did you think about just like general experience?
So we'll get into I think my favorite part about the trip probably. But we're gonna start with breakfast.
Please, because I loved that breakfast.
So it was we had market lunch for breakfast, right?
We did. It's called the Market Lunch, but they're famous for their breakfast. They have two items that stand out. The two items that we got, the Blue Bucks,
It's buckwheat pancakes,
blueberry
maple
buckwheat
syrup.
pancakes with you got to pay a little bit extra for the natural maple syrup. Definitely worth it. Don't let them put that
Yeah,
Mrs.
don't fuck
Butterworth
around
on
with that
it.
bullshit.
Don't do it. Just you're already getting a top shelf pancake. Get the top shelf syrup to go with it. I believe you got the
Pancakes.
pancakes and the syrup. I got the brick. The brick is a breakfast sandwich. It has your choice of breakfast meat, egg, potato, and cheese.
And when you talk about hash browns, we're talking about like chunked up, like
Chunk
chopped
of potato.
just smashed on the patty,
And
man.
so filling.
Very good.
So we got the brick, we got the pancakes, we both split it.
Got with scrapple.
So we split the sandwich. We each got a pancake. That
Good.
was a good start to the day. Right
Coffee
there.
was fantastic as well.
Oh yeah, the good coffee.
There's some cops there. You can tell they're regulars. You know.
And it's inside the Eastern Market, which is a super hip little neighborhood, a super hip little market.
You almost couldn't tell from the outside.
You could get like it's just like a nondescript like brick building, but you go
Just, like,
in
the best kind of supermarket.
Like we were even talking, like you could go in, you could get some sliced deli meat, some fresh bread, couple of things. Go have a little picnic later.
Yeah, we should need
You know,
lemons. some
go
apples.
in, get your breakfast, and then pack your lunch and take it out. Like that's the perfect place to do it right there.
Yeah, they also had some other stuff going on there, but look like they're renovating at the
Tons
moment.
of stuff. And then out on the weekends, I think it's only Sundays. It's either Saturday or Sunday. They have a farmer's market outside of the Eastern Market, so you can go get your breakfast while enjoying the atmosphere of a local farmer's
That'd be
market
great.
in one of DC's most
outside
thriving.
of
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
right
god, that's
there.
the perfect spot.
I know.
That makes so much. That all that open space we were scooting through makes so much more sense
Yeah.
now. Wow.
That's a
So
farmer's
definitely check
market.
them out closer to the summertime, I guess.
Yeah, summertime.
Ooh, I would love to do
either
that. We gotta
Saturday,
roll through
Sunday,
there.
Got the farmer's market going on.
'Cause they had great stuff inside. So on the outside, when you have everybody coming
Yeah.
there,
I loved the market lunch.
great price as well, great value. Loved
It
it.
was great.
For when just go with lunch after that, what we actually had for lunch.
We actually did have lunch. We did do a couple things before that though. So we hit the Eisenhower Memorial.
We did. Yeah,
Eisenhower, that's one of the newer memorials on the mall. It's been one of the longest in planning. It's pretty cool. It kind of breaks it up. The memorial's divided. Eisenhower as president and Eisenhower as general of the Allied forces during World War II. It's very interesting, different perspectives. There's a little controversial element, which is there's a little statue of a young Eisenhower looking up at what is apparently his destiny, and some people, including his granddaughter, took note of that and actually did not like it because they thought it was insane that a young kid would be aspiring to have to spearhead the world through one of the most calamitous moments in history. However, certainly go and check it out and give your own opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, especially the statues themselves. I forget into this now, but that was a pretty great place to blaze it.
It was really chill, right off Independence Avenue.
Yes, there's like these nice benches that are really, really cold.
Really, really cold benches. You sit there, you blaze it a little bit.
Intersection.
It's great. You just
kind of like
the
Magic Dragon.
Watch the world go by while you're blazing it. Loved that. Yeah. After that, we did lunch.
So lunch was a fantastic taco shop called District Tacos.
District
Tacos.
They started as a food truck.
I believe that.
They started as a food truck, and now they have locations all over DC. They've become like an institution. Super cheap.
Oh, they have multiple.
Yes,
places.
multiples. They have turned into quite the franchise.
Wow. Okay.
So, super cheap. You pick your meat. You pick your type of tortilla.
Your toppings.
You pick your toppings. Boom. Watching them work too was actually very fun. They have
it's almost like a Moe's.
They have like an open counter, but it wasn't just like they're really fast at how they're working. They did it with flair.
They did.
Like they're flipping tickets and stuff.
Yeah, I saw one guy like slide the ring with the ticket to the left. It was
like you got
order up.
You got a guy whose like only job was putting sauces on the tacos, but he's like working the ladle like he's a hibachi chef and doing flips and stuff with it. It's like, this is
it was definitely a high class operation they got going on there.
Sure, really good food, great atmosphere, under $10.
Yeah,
to get
tacos.
full, and market lunch too, like $10 to $12. $10 to $12, you can get an amazing meal. That's some of my favorite places in DC are the kind of places you can do like $10, $12 max.
And get a great, solid, fulfilling meal.
Yeah, District Taco, fantastic. After that, we hit up FDR Memorial.
We did.
Which is one that I've actually never seen as many times as I've been there. That was very interesting. I enjoy that. FDR is one of my favorite presidents. And that's right alongside the Tidal Basin. It is. Love the Tidal Basin. I'm going to be going back there for Cherry Blossom Festival with some friends up in Maryland. You're not going to be joining me?
Nah, I won't be there.
You won't be there. But I'm going to go. You'll be with me in spirit. I'm going to show everyone cool stuff we found up there. The Tidal Basin, by the way.
If I'm not mistaken, that's a great place to blaze it.
That is a fantastic place to blaze it. I mean, you got like the Jefferson right across the way. You got the FDR right behind you. You got a beautiful view of the skyline. Oh,
the water's right in front of you.
It is. It's just scooting around the Tidal Basin. Sometimes really enjoyable, sometimes a little sketch. I noticed like most people are like, oh, okay, here's a scooter dangerously close to this edge where they could just fall off into the water. Most people are like, let me step off so that they have some room. And some people are just like, no, I don't care if you die. I'm just going to stand here.
The tree's not in my way.
Right. And so that was a little bit sketch. You got to be careful scooting around. I don't even know if you're supposed to be scooting down there, but we go everywhere. And then after that, we went to the Lincoln Memorial. The Lincoln Memorial is cool, but that's not the cool thing we found at the Lincoln Memorial.
Honestly, when we first started talking about just the generalness of it, and I said like my favorite part, this would be my favorite part: the people of DC. Because Lincoln Memorial is great. We went up there. I believe we stood where Martin Luther King stood.
Mm-hmm.
He gave a speech.
We did.
Very, very touching spot.
Great panorama of all the monuments and stuff from up there.
And you were saying Lincoln's got two hands.
Naturally.
One closed in determination.
One open hand with compassion. One hand closed in determination.
Yeah.
And it's just a great detail. I also love the Lincoln Memorial because it's not idealized. So if you actually pay like really close attention to the statue itself, his hair's ruffled, his clothes are all disheveled. He just looks like he hasn't really had himself together.
Looks pretty haggard.
And that's because he doesn't have time for it. He's got pockmarks on his skin. He's got sunken eyes. Can't shave. It's just it's a very real, honest image of a man.
Over just 4 acres, a nice little park there.
Just a man in a powerful position at the right time. So that was great. But we met someone.
Yeah, so straight up, it may as well have been a mirage.
We thought it was at first.
I don't think I said it, but in my head, I'm thinking, man, I was going to say the stupidest thing. I was like, I really hope there's a water fountain up there. And before I can even get that out, this gentleman appears from out of nowhere. His name was Roach.
Roach. Shout out Roach.
And he said, water here, $2.
$2.
That's a great price.
If you've never been to the National Mall, a bottle of water for $2 is like the most insane fire sale you've ever seen in your life.
Now imagine you've been in DC, you've been blazing it around, you've been scooting around, you've been
out of water.
Bike pedaling around, you get a little parched, little cotton mouth. We needed some drink. I was going to die potentially if I did not have water by the time we got to that Lincoln Memorial. That's a lot of steps. But at the base of those steps was our buddy Roach with $2 waters. He had some Gatorades too. Mm-hmm. I said, man, I need 2 of those.
We got 2 waters. I got a Gatorade.
He blessed us.
We even tipped him. That's the kind of
he's potentially breaking the law to give us a service that the city of DC is actually not doing themselves.
Right. And more power to him.
Prime real estate.
We appreciate him. We saw him on the way up from the Lincoln.
Yeah, we couldn't thank him enough.
It was a great moment. We have decided that if we're ever up there again and we see him, we're going to catch that.
Yeah, if we catch Roach, you guys will hear from him.
Try to get an interview. But it was funny because we were coming back down from the Lincoln, and we were like, we're not going to like try to like interview him or anything. We're just going to swing by and say thank you again.
Like, do like the Wayne's World bow, not worthy type thing. Like God bless you. And that's what I said. I said, God bless you.
So we walked
this
past
guy's
him.
awesome.
So we walked past him, and we're like, and we see this young lady talking to Roach. Very animated in the way that she's speaking.
As enthusiastic as we were to have that water.
We understand. And she's like, God bless you. God bless you.
And I'm like, yeah, dude, God bless him.
So we're like we catch her hype about Roach, and it just feeds on the hype that we're already feeling. So we start hyping him up with her, and we're like, yeah, man, isn't this dude amazing? And she's like, you know who's really amazing is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and if you can just accept him into your heart, then you don't have to perish in eternal fire. And it's just like she's
it went from like 0 to
screaming
60
at
real
us.
quick.
I've never in my life like been so excited to talk to someone and then so immediately ready to get the fuck out of there.
It was interesting.
We were like 100 feet away from her, riding away on our scooters, and she is still screaming at us. People are looking at her because you don't just
and
start
Roach is just in the
yelling
middle of
DC.
this thing. Like, man, I'm just trying to sell some water.
It is 2022. You don't just start yelling in DC.
Nah, not at like the Lincoln Memorial, not at the
No.
base. It's already. They said Roach was already like shoot off by the cops earlier in the day. Like, you're just gonna bring more attention to everything.
That was an interesting moment. You do meet some interesting people.
But Roach wasn't the only one we met.
Nope, there
Met
was
a few other people. Where were we at when we met these other
So
gentlemen?
we were at Pershing Park.
Pershing Park.
We were at
There's
Pershing
like a
Park.
little statue there, a little monument of sorts.
A little statue, just a nice little thing, sort of like a World War I memorial, but more specifically for General Pershing. We were trying to figure out if it was a good place to blaze it.
I think it was.
It definitely was.
It definitely was because when we got there,
we smelled it.
Yeah,
Like there's so much weed in the air.
We
here.
knew this was the place to be.
It definitely was. We were just, we started blazing it, and one guy that had been over there, a skateboarder,
A bucket-capped fellow with blonde hair.
Yeah, he was great.
Basically, imagine if Shaggy from Scooby-Doo just put on a bucket cap.
Name was Wayne. Shout out Wayne.
Wayne, cool guy. He knows where all the babes are.
And he did everything he told us. He was like, man, y'all need to go over to Georgetown,
All
man.
the babes
That's where
are
the
there.
babes are
Check
at,
out them
man.
Exorcist stairs, man. All the babes are
Man,
there.
You go to the Exorcist stairs, you're going to find some babes right there. And he's like, oh, wait, what? Word? Y'all are going to go over to Alexandria? Man, there's some babes over there.
Babes over there. He's a cool guy, though.
He was. I mean, if anyone's trying to go to D.C. and take a babe tour, hit up Wayne.
Yeah, or if you want some weed in D.C.
Oh, yeah, Wayne's got it, too.
Hit up Wayne.
There's
also
Wayne.
another
He's got
guy. Again, just the folks at D.C. so welcoming. Like, we didn't even need anything, and they're just like, hey, we got you guys.
Gives me some weed?
Yeah, some other gentleman, right after Wayne had conversed with us, just rolls by on a skateboard, does a kickflip, looks at us, said, y'all need some weed, I got you.
It was so great. It's like, that's hospitality.
Yeah, didn't even have to ask. We just showed up there, and so we know if you go in DC,
Pershing Park, you just hang out at Pershing Park, you'll get some flour. It's fine.
if you see Wayne, send him our regards.
Absolutely. I do want to talk generally about DC people and DC attitude. This is what I've noticed about DC. They don't go out of their way to be nice. DC, like actual DC natives, get a stigma of being mean and
I think
rude.
there's like so many people that it's hard for them to make one,
Right.
you know.
So I think that what you end up seeing is people that are constantly on the go. We see scooters and stuff like that. We see Metro. We see all those things as like novelties of like, wow, this is so nice. But for them, it's just their daily commute.
Nothing
So
special.
they're just trying to get where they're trying to fucking go. And
everyone's got earbuds in.
I have noticed that any time that I'm like overly nice, you know, Southern hospitality, all that. Anytime that I'm just like overly nice, like, sorry, I'm trying to come around you. I want to make you aware I'm being super touristy. People just sort of like roll their eyes at you and they never really say anything.
I feel like to them that's more of an inconvenience than if you would just ignored them.
Just like almost like ran them over. They would have just like, whatever, that would have been fine. But don't fucking talk to me.
Don't get my attention and then still almost run me over.
Right.
Just run me over.
But I
Kill
will
me.
say, having said that, any time that I have had to stop and ask someone direction or ask someone anything,
Nice folks.
the nicest people, they're not going to like stop and talk to you forever. But if you're asking them a direct question, they'll tell you. They'll tell you what you need to do. They're not going to lie to you. They're going to tell you what you need to do. So I think that they all have a place to be. And so they're always in a hurry, but nice people overall. I think
Definitely nice people.
I think the natives of DC are very nice people overall. I love it. It's just a great town. And
Yeah, it's a few other, I guess, last things. Just to mention about DC, like we had some trouble with like the wharf directions, and even like I said, we did mention it was 8th grade field trip season currently, so there's just
Oh, yes.
masses and masses.
we had originally tried to get
Kids.
into the African American History Museum.
That line was longer than a new ride at Six Flags.
If you go anytime between mid-March to like June, you're gonna have 8th grade field trip season, and it's terrible.
Yeah, and then any later it's hot, so you know,
Yeah.
travel at your own risk. But the other thing was, what was that one museum we tried to go to with the revolving doors?
The
and it's just-
Hirshhorn.
Yeah, arrows everywhere.
The
Couldn't get in.
Hirshhorn Museum of Modern Art. There's 1.5 million signs all over it that say, "We are open, come on in." And then you get in, we come through the revolving door, and the security guard, without even looking up, just goes, "Nah, keep it going."
So yeah, that's, you know, if they could be open longer or at least like an hour later, that'd be cool. But I get it, you know, it's a museum, whatever. But the little park they have behind it,
Yes. So at the Hirshhorn, they have a little botanical garden, windy pathway.
we spent a little extra time there.
We
and
did. Found out it's a fantastic place to blaze it.
It was a fantastic place to blaze it. Shame we couldn't get into the museum, but the place
I
around
mean,
back,
Very nice. Loved
very
it.
nice smoke shop. Last thing we did post wharfing to Alexandria, we said we gotta get some ice cream because Alexandria is the ice cream capital of the United States.
That's right. Longtime listeners will know that Alexandria is the ice cream capital.
You
of
want
the
ice
world.
cream? You go to Alexandria.
And if you
And
want,
we did.
And if you want ice cream in Alexandria,
You go to
Pop's Old Fashioned Ice Cream
Pop's Old Fashioned Ice Cream.
lives up to the hype.
Yeah,
That was some good ass ice cream.
I've had plenty of good ice cream, and I don't think it gets much better than that.
Mhm.
Probably the best. Like I personally could not imagine getting better.
the
than that.
rum raisin. Oh, so good. The s'mores, a little
That
bit
was one
sweet.
s'more.
But I mean, s'mores was good, really sweet, super rich. I was so happy that once I finished the s'more, I had that rum raisin. It just kind of cut it perfectly. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is.
You
the
gotta go a
lefty I
little
needed.
funky on the flavors.
I love it. It was so good. And then King Street again, just cycling down King Street, or you can hop on the trolley, whatever you want to do. That's just
Do a lot of that.
Just a great place. You got like an open kind of like market festival kind of atmosphere. Even on a weekday. On a weekday, they had the street closed down part way.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
People
that
on the
was like
street.
a special thing or that's just like a regular thing.
I don't know. They all seem like they're having a good time.
Because like I know
over
in New
there.
York, motherfuckers just be bringing out like chairs and sitting in the intersection. And we're just like, we actually kind of gotta move through here.
And something of note is if you were ever at the Amtrak station, if you go right outside, there is a World War I memorial. Looking across, you see the George Washington Masonic Temple, this really like crazy looking spire building.
That was a pretty nice spot.
Is a really good spot
You
to
get a
blaze it.
spot of the street. Yeah, great spot to
It's
blaze
a great
it.
spot to blaze it.
Yeah, nice little view of the train station itself.
But you can't smoke weed on there, obviously. But you can get
Sure
hella
can.
baked 10 feet from the front door and then
Sure
walk
can.
in reeking of weed and pop on that train. And that's exactly what we did. That was a fantastic time. Great place to blaze it. Loved it.
Yeah, then we pretty much got back on the train, got some more snacks because ice cream wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rated a vending machine. Really cool vending machines.
yeah, anything you can use that you don't have to have exact change for. Pretty good in my book.
Pretty good.
Especially as far as Amtrak goes. But again, those dystopian type messages were still prevalent. Even up north, didn't like those very much. Any final words about the trip in general?
I would just say, I just want to give a shout out to a content creator, to Trip Hacks DC YouTube channel. You can follow him. Really good channel. Literally like hundreds of YouTube videos about everything you can imagine, about how to not look like a tourist on Metro, best cheap places to eat. You gotta, if you're planning on going to the district, you gotta follow him, check out the videos, just great content. So I gotta say thank you to Rob and his other staff members over at TripX DC. They're doing great work, great content, made it so easy and convenient for me.
Shout out Rob at the DC Trip Hacks.
TripX DC.
TripX DC.
TripX DC.
Jeans with pants. Gotcha.
Yeah.
With that said, we gotta take one more special break. We'll be right back.
And now we'd like to take a moment for our first ever Sounds Obtuse podcast promotion as we spotlight
C&J Farm. C&J Farm is a local wellness farm located in Matthews County, Virginia. It is the best place to de-stress, decompress, and spend a little time with nature and nature lovers. Sit and chat over tea with Miss Jean Howard, an eclectic herbalist and wellness guide. Let her get to know you and share with you some of her incredible knowledge, and check in to see other classes and workshops that are often available. Have some quiet contemplation on a relaxing stroll through the Dragonfly Labyrinth or Peace Path, and don't forget to stop by the Farm General Store to take home some fresh herbs, produce, honey, and so much more. Check the schedule in advance for special events. Do you have a special talent? Try open mic and karaoke, or feel like banging away the stress of the day on a drum? Join the Thunder Drummers Drum Circle. And for a special day for the entire family, don't miss Fairies on the Farm for loads of amazing activities. If peace, love, and high-quality natural products are your thing, there's no better place than C&J Farm. Live life close to nature at C&J Farm.
And we're back. Thank you, C&J Farms. Why you guys don't support us financially as far as our ads go, like Shelly's Shoe Sale Emporium does. We love supporting and praising you guys because you give us good vibes and allow us to do what we do.
C&J Farm is just a fantastic place to be. The best vibes. Miss Jean, I mean, come on. She's
love you
just
guys.
the sweetest person. Everybody that works at the farm, the family, you're always welcome. You're always going to leave with a smile on your face, feeling
Undoubtedly.
feeling a little bit better about the world, I would even say.
Yeah, definitely more hopeful.
But with that said,
We got a final end segment. Haven't done this one in quite some time, but we got potentially problematic. we got a returning segment that is the spicy sombrero.
the rant sombrero.
The rant sombrero. So
we're doing it.
I wrote some things on a paper. Dylan wrote some things on a paper. We're going to hand them off. We're going to pull from the hat, and we're going to, as the name would imply, rant about these topics. Let's see what we got. Where's this pulling from the hat?
There's some good stuff in there.
Vehicles parked in a bike lane. So the thing people don't actually understand is that bikes share the road. They follow the same rules as vehicles. They may not be as fast, but in some cases they're even faster. So when vehicles aren't moving at all, they're parked. In fact, it is a farce because a bike is just trying to be more efficient than a car, especially in a big city. You know, like sure. You say, oh, but, you know, my bike doesn't go on the highway. Well, it's because the city didn't put it there. And we need more bikes because they would end up going faster than cars in most, if not all places, let's be honest. Not to mention the fact that we have fuel that messes up the environment. We got zero fossil fuel usage with bikes. In fact, you get more healthy people with bikes. So we need less cars parked so we can make bikes go more.
I think it's well said.
I think so.
Yeah. I would join that protest with you.
I don't think I'm missing out on anything.
I don't think so. Now it's my turn.
Dylan is pulling from the spicy rant sombrero.
So spicy. It's burning my fingertips. I cannot wait.
One of those is a joke, by the way. You'll know if you get it.
Okay, so let me see what I got here. And I have pulled Joe Biden.
Good old Sleepy Joe.
Let me tell y'all something about Joe Biden. All right. First of all, gas prices. Joe, what are you doing over there? Why do you keep making gas cost more. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you single-handedly believe that gas prices need to be higher, and therefore you just need to keep jacking them up. I don't know who you think that's helping there, Joe, but you need to knock it off with that. And you know what? Second of all, why are you sending all this money over to Ukraine? Okay, like we don't have problems here. All right, you got Mexico trying to invade America, and we're sending military aid to Ukraine to fight off Russia. The best people ever, judging by people who don't like Joe Biden. The best people ever. I don't know why we're sending all of our stuff over there. Joe, what are you doing over there? You got the inflation going up. Joe Biden just likes to make everything more expensive, just trying to jack them prices up because he hates this country, and that's all he wants to do. So, you know what? I got a whole lot to say about Joe Biden. Let's go, Brandon.
I like how when you get more correct about things, you take on this Southern accent.
Is that more correct?
Really
Is that
effective.
You said more correct?
Yeah, really effective use of speaking, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Some people will just scream, but like I think just getting in that nice Southern drawl really lulls in the fact.
To like get into that character to do that rant, I basically just like take everything that I've learned about like politics and economics and government and all that stuff that I've learned, and I just sort of forget it.
I cut out that last sentence. You got a lot of fans.
I just forget all those things that I learned, and I pretend that I'm someone who doesn't know anything about how the world works, and then it's very easy to criticize a president for all the problems of your country. It's actually very easy once you forget.
Yeah, let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, let's go, Brandon. You know what? Yeah, if you just forget everything, you can start saying dumb shit like that, and it just makes sense.
Totally. Well, speaking of saying dumb shit like that, there will be another Sounds Obtuse podcast in the future. So look forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as well. Any last words you want to say?
Other than I love you, Joe, I'm going to say peace and love.
Peace and love. Oh, did you check out the Chris exhibit for Sounds Obtuse Podcast at the Picasso? The doo-doo part. Yeah, that really touched me.
Bro, it changed my life, honestly, man.
I didn't know everybody had to pee.
I thought it was just me.
We're like so much closer than we are apart, you know?
Okay.
Alright, let me read my ad real quick.